If you ever hopped on a sales call only to feel like you're being like interrogated, then you know how annoying a low quality lead can be. So before I moved my focus over to YouTube, my sales calls, they were basically like that. People from Instagram or other short form platforms, they would show up having seen maybe like a 60-second clip of me or some short form post, and they didn't really know my process. They didn't really fully trust me, and they basically spent the entire call price shopping or kind of interviewing me in a sense, when literally they were the one that reached out to me, not the other way around. But I started using YouTube and my closing rate doubled. So we're going to talk about how YouTube can help you do this and how I use it to make sure every person who hops on a call with me is already ready to buy. So the biggest shift is sort of like kind of how they see you on the call. So on platforms like Instagram, you're seen more of like a creator, a content creator. And on YouTube, you're seen as more as like a teacher. So when someone finds me through search or they find me on the homepage of YouTube, they watch, and then YouTube keeps serving them my content. So they watch 2, 3, 4, 5 more of these videos. They've spent already like nearly an hour with me. And so by the time they book a call, the vetting process is over. They might have even like taken some advice that I had said in the video. And so they aren't wondering if I know what I'm talking about. And maybe they've even seen like a few other people on YouTube, but I'm the one they sort of like gravitated to because of the vibe, because of what I was talking about, because of how I solved their problem, whatever the case may be. But basically, they already seen the proof. So they don't come to the call to interview me. They come to find out how they can get started. And so the second thing. So one thing that I always hear about online is sort of like no-shows. So people book a call in sort of like a moment of inspiration, but by the time the call actually happens, they've forgotten why they cared, or they just don't show up. I can say for the most part I never had this issue, but I feel like I've also put systems in place to make it even stronger for this to, again, not happen. So I've actually started integrating YouTube into my call sequence. So about 5 days before, it's about 5 days before they get on the call with me, there's this call sequence to kind of like, hey, the call is in 5 days, the call is in 2 days, the call is in 24 hours. But on top of that reminder, it also has like a very specific YouTube video. So I have some of my process videos on there, and I have like basically very specific videos that they can watch and basically warm them up even more. So even if they didn't come from YouTube, they still have the chance to watch some of my videos. And this also helps you on YouTube as well, actually, because when those people who are booking call and who are interested in working with you, when they're clicking on your video and they're going to YouTube, that's sending a signal to YouTube and being like, this is the type of person that's watching her content sort of like all the way through. So they're going to go find more of those people. So again, it also helps you as well. And basically because they've, again, invested time watching my content before we even met or before we even meet, my no-show rate is basically like non-existent. Like they're like, it's not a time, like, I'm like, how do I explain this? Okay, so there's very little times where someone basically doesn't show up. So that's great. And then another thing is sort of like the end of price shopping. So when people find you on short form social media, you're basically a commodity. There's like 10 other people on Instagram who are basically saying the same thing. And you're just one of a dozen that they saw that day. So, and then also they have messages on, like they have messaging capabilities on those platforms. So naturally people are going to price shop you against everyone else in their feed. But you can't exactly price shop a unique methodology because my YouTube videos, they go so deep into my specific ways of doing things, I kind of already gave them the solution to what they were looking for. So when they come to me, first, there's no messaging on YouTube. There is no way to message you. So with that being said, it's like when they come on the call, they are very, very, very serious. Because, they had to take the time out of their day to book that call and say that I'm putting energy into finding this link and booking it. So it's just a different quality of a person. And again, sort of like the price shopping it's not really there. They're kind of already convinced. They just need to know maybe a little bit more about how the process works and how much it costs if they're getting something custom. And so another thing is, again, on it, they arrive warmed up. So like I compare it to Instagram because I've gotten a lot of calls from Instagram. So, but the first 15 minutes are spent warming up, explaining basic concepts, explaining what you do, especially since I do a lot of YouTube work, and not most people, but a lot of people on Instagram, they don't have YouTube channels. Maybe their main generator is like Instagram. So they might have questions about YouTube, or when I was doing video editing service, they might have questions about video editing. So having to explain those things. But again, with the YouTube leads, we skip all of that because I have content explaining all of these different things. And if they want to know answer to a question like that, they can just search the YouTube library. I literally had someone message me the other day and they were like, hey, I don't even think they wanted anything. They were just like, I think they were wondering how I was doing, but they basically just messaged me on Facebook and they were like, I was looking for a way to live stream on YouTube. I was looking for some advice on that, and I wasn't going to look on Google, but instead what I actually did is I just went to your YouTube channel and they said that I just wanted to see if you had it first, and so they went to my YouTube channel first. And then another example of this is literally a call that I had literally a week ago, and she had watched maybe 4 or 5 of my videos. I always ask on the discovery form, 1, where'd you find me at? Answer is almost always YouTube, but sometimes it's email, sometimes it's threads, but I always ask that question. And then on the call, I ask, what video did you find me from? And they most of the times, they always know. They'll be like, I saw the video on this, I saw the video on that, I saw the video on this. And I'm like, okay, cool. And that gives me a better idea, okay, what videos are working. And then also like, what some of their problems are. And they come, I got a little off topic here, but basically they come warmed up. So with the call that I had like a week ago, the lady came, I asked her a few questions about what she was struggling with. She told me, I gave her a solution. Call was like 16 minutes. 10 of those minutes was me just diagnosing and me sharing how I could help her. She said yes. Other 8 minutes was me just being curious about her and asking more questions about, asking her questions about herself, basically. Easiest call ever. You're probably not going to get that from Instagram. So yeah, I mean, if you are tired of interview style sales calls and you want leads who show up ready to work with you, specifically, you need a YouTube asset library. So if you are interested in learning more about how YouTube can work for you, then you can join my free 5-day YouTube email course. In this course, I'm going to be walking you through my exact strategy for growing your business through YouTube, including how to find the topics that your future clients are actually searching for through SEO. I'm going to be showing you how to get more traffic from YouTube. And I'm also going to be showing you how to turn views into leads and clients. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.